Distance learning is the term that we're using to describe what happens when the students are learning from home primarily rather than here at school. Distance learning will mean more than just learning on the computer. Some of the activities that the students are going to do are going to involve them getting out of their seat, switching off the computer, and engaging with other forms of activity during the day. I think it's really important that the teachers continue to engage with the kids, and I know from the first couple of days that that's been happening, and that's been an important part of the program. We'll be looking for different ways for the students to collaborate together, and we really think getting different activities going that help the kids to connect socially will be almost as important as the learning itself. So there's going to be, answer that question is a little different for the junior school and the senior school. For the kindergarten to year 2 students, the parents will receive an email in the afternoon around about 4 or 5 o'clock the day before the learning is going to start, and it's going to contain a number of activities that the students should be doing the next day. And at the same time, we're looking at ways to get that information out. So I think there's going to be a pack put together of materials as well. For the students in years 3 to 6 in the junior school, the learning material will be on the OneNote, and I would think that that would be supported by communication by the teacher. And for the senior school, we are trying to, in a way, develop the autonomy and independence of the students. So the work is going to be placed directly onto the OneNote, and the students will receive an email from their teachers about the work that's coming up. So either for that lesson or for a couple of lessons in a row, depending on the subject and whether the teacher can communicate a number of lessons at once in an effective way. So if we're in a classroom, the teachers are enthusiastic about learning, and the virtual classroom or the distance learning classroom will be the same. But the idea is not to overwhelm the students with content. So I think what students should do is take advantage of the situation, work at their own pace. Depending on their age and the parents' guidance as well, there's opportunities to do perhaps more than normal, but at the same time, as I said, we don't want the students to feel like there's a whole mountain they've got to climb. So I think things like what's reasonable within an hour for the student to work on that work, and then perhaps come back to later. If they're an older student, they're going to be motivated to probably take advantage of the extra hours in the day and do a little bit more than usual. The first thing would be to email the teacher. So if that is a live lesson, they could also communicate through Teams. There's a chat feature, and we'll also be having some conferencing, so they can ask questions directly to the teacher, or they can email the teacher. And I would say that's for students in 3 through to 12. They should feel that they can do that. For the younger ones, I think they're probably going to talk to their parents and let them know that they're having a question, and their parents may well be able to answer it, and if not, then I think email the teacher. The parents would email the teacher, and we would get an answer back within a day, I'm sure. So video conferencing is new. The way that we're going to do it is we're going to do it through Microsoft Teams. We haven't done it before, so it's all brand new, and we're starting out with our senior students, years 11 and 12, to see how it goes over the next couple of days. So we're starting out with the senior students. There's a couple of things we need to consider carefully when we're video conferencing. Some of those are about making sure that the students are in a safe environment, and that the communication is appropriate. So we're starting with that older age group. And we also need to see how the technology goes. The same technology that we can use to do a video conference, we can also use to create a short video from the teacher, or an extended video from the teacher, where the teacher explains or gives a little demonstration lesson of something. So I think what we'll find is that the teachers are using that technology as well, whatever the age group of the children, to create way of engaging with the students. The students will see the teacher. It's not an instructional video that's necessarily come from YouTube or something, although we might use those as well, but it's also seeing their teacher. And I think that will be an important part of the program over the next couple of weeks. So I think Hills grammar teachers have been amazing this week. They've basically, in fact for the last couple of weeks, as we've been wondering whether at some point we would move into this context, but particularly this week, they've been very energetically engaged in professional learning how to use technology, thinking through the steps of learning so that there's a learning trajectory. So starting with content that the students would need to know, and then moving on to application of that knowledge. So in a classroom setting, that would happen in a slightly different way to when we're preparing for distance learning. In distance learning, we need to anticipate those steps. So the OneNote, for example, would have a certain amount of content, but it will also have some guided activities that would come from the teachers sequencing the learning so that the students can move through and understand and apply their knowledge. How we can continue to engage with the students, the feedback that we're looking for from both the students and the parents, so that we can continue to improve what we're doing, and that's really important to us. We want lots of feedback, and we'll be responsive to that, I'm sure.